guys, Courtney Mermaid here, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about something very important, mermaid etiquette, coming up. Alright, so there are a lot of things to keep track of as a mermaid. There are some important things to make a note of and some important things to realize, and I figured it would be a good idea to make a video to let those of you who are new know some things, those of you who have been around for a while, give y'all a little reminder, and just even for myself, some of the things that I don't think about often that I wanted to include to kind of reinforce them in the community. Let's get started with number one, protect your information. So being a mermaid is a bit of an interesting endeavor, especially on the internet. You are out there, you are posting pictures of yourself. Typically, we're just in little bra type tops with mermaid tails. There are a lot of people out there who are very supportive and very interested in what we're doing. There are unfortunately a lot of really inappropriate people out there as well, and even dangerous people. So if you're a young mermaid, I really suggest you check with your parents. I know I sound like, oh my gosh, what kind of old time lady is this? But seriously, I'm just saying it is really important. All of the creeps and people out there, there are a lot of mermaids I know who have had personal bad experiences online if they've given out too much information or somebody's just come across their personal information somehow. It is really important to protect yourself as best as you can. While it's really important to share yourself out there with your social media and with your sort of tribe, as it were, you know, you really want to connect with people, but it's also really important to keep in mind not everybody who smiles is a friend, and so it's really important to be aware and be cautious. And if something doesn't feel right to you, definitely don't engage, don't be part of it. You know what, if you have to contact authorities or if you're feeling uncomfortable and you're younger, please let your parents know. Just to be aware, if there's other mermaids who you've met personally and you know or you're friends with, you could talk to them about it, and that kind of thing. But it's really important to be safe on the internet. Number two, do not claim another mermaid's work as your own. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a tail, it's a top, it's a hair clip, it's a photo, it's whatever. If it's not yours, do not tell people that you made it. That is a big no-no. There have been a couple of people who have made really bad names for themselves in our little circle, in our little industry, who have done things like that, where they have said, oh, this is my photo, these are the tails that I sell, or this is what I do. That is a very big no-no. It is a really uncool thing. I've had it happen to me personally with my artwork, where people have stolen my artwork and claimed it as their own, and it feels really bad when it happens to you. So don't do it to other people, okay? It's really uncool. Always give credit where credit is due. Ask permission if you're gonna use or repost a photo. Make sure people are okay with it. If people have on their Instagram, do not repost my stuff. Do not repost their stuff. It is really uncool to do that, and you would not appreciate it if somebody did that to you. Really important to keep in mind. I don't mean to be all stern, but I'm serious. It's really lame to do that to other people. Another really important one is to be patient with new or young mermaids. Guys, we were all there. Okay, we have all been new. We have all been that person who's had the questions or asked or maybe been a little annoying, okay? But it's not because they're being annoying, it's just because they're enthusiastic. There's a nice way to handle it. You don't have to be a jerk about it. If somebody's asking you too many questions, there is a way to let them know. Take a little break from answering if you have to, but you don't need to be impatient with new or young mermaids. It's not nice. There is a lot of elitism in our community as it is. There are different grades of mermaids as well. There are people who do this as performers, professionals. There are people who do the professional side, kids parties. You know, there's the modeling aspect of it. There's the YouTube aspect of it. There's a lot of different stages. So you kind of have to look at it and realize that though they may not be like professionals in the sense of people that you want to communicate with, it is really not cool to be mean or rude to somebody who is newly getting into the mermaid sort of sphere, as it were. You know, try to remember how it felt when you were new to the community. I know how it felt, and I know there were a few people who were kind of mean to me, and it didn't make me feel very good, and I wasn't going out of my way to be annoying or to be whatever, but just kind of remember where you came from and treat people how you would like to be treated. Number four, don't spam your tail makers. This is an important one, as I'm starting to discover. I have heard, you know, you hear through the grapevine, tail makers, you know, they get just overwhelmed. People are constantly, you know, sending them emails and spamming them, or saying that they're gonna buy something and then they don't. And it wasn't until recently where I've started making tails and I'm preparing to open for 3 slots. I'm not sure when this video goes up. I may already have the slots open. This is my fourth or fifth video I've already filmed today, so I batch film everything. That's why I look the same in all my videos for each month. But it is really important to be very respectful of these people. It's just of artists in general. A lot of hard work goes into making mermaid tails, so please don't spam your tail makers. Call them repeatedly, email them repeatedly, say that you spoke to them when you didn't, say to people that you've confirmed something if you didn't, and it's just really important to just clear communication, okay? Keeping in mind, some tail makers are really good for getting back to people, some tail makers aren't. So if you are somebody and you're having an issue and you're waiting, absolutely be like, hey, customer service is a thing and it's important, but the kind of spam that I'm talking about is the kind of, will you make me a tail for free? Will you do this for free? Why is this so expensive? Can I get a discount? And being the kind of person who just repeatedly emails and comments and messages and goes on and on and on. It is not a nice way to be treated, as I'm discovering. And it's not super appreciated. So on behalf of all tail makers out there, just try not to be too spammy. That's, I think, how I'm gonna leave that. Number 5, don't make assumptions. So this goes in with a lot of things. You know, don't make assumptions about anything, because you only know what you know. You can't read somebody's mind. As much as we like to think, oh, well, I bet you that person is thinking this, or I bet you so-and-so said to so-and-so something about me, or whatever. We're all really bad for it. You only know what you know. So unless you've heard it with your own 2 ears or seen it with your own 2 eyes, or how many eyes and ears you got, it's really important not to make assumptions. You are going to feel really bad about yourself if you're constantly assuming that people are saying bad things about you, or somebody doesn't like you, or somebody didn't respond to you and therefore they hate you, or these kinds of things. Try really hard not to make assumptions. Especially if somebody's like taking time to get back to you. I know that I still haven't gone through, I've got a bunch. I went through all of my YouTube comments today and answered to everybody, and I still have emails, but I've got to film. So people, you know, if they're waiting, I always let them know. I try and apologize, like, hey, I'm really sorry that took time to get back to you, but I wanted to write you a proper response, not like a half-tail kind of a, I don't even know what it is. But it just goes with anybody. If you're interacting with mermaids, maybe you're at the pool with somebody and they maybe seem like they're off or something, don't assume that it's you. If you want clarification, you need to ask. You can ask. I know it's a hard thing, especially if you're younger. Maybe you haven't quite gotten brave enough to try it, but just remember that if you're in your own head, it's easier than trying to be in somebody else's head. So that's something that I've had to learn over the last maybe year or two, where it's a large part of my anxiety is that I question everybody's motives. What is everybody doing? Everybody's out to get me, and it's how I run. So I've had to really stop myself and be like, hey, have you got facts to back this up? Are you sure? And then go from there. So that's just a really important point I wanted to bring up as well. Okay, number 6. This is a sensitive one. I am not referring to anybody specifically with this, so please keep that in mind. This is a very general, even internet, email etiquette kind of thing. So when I say what I'm about to say, just take it with a grain of salt, and I'm not pointing fingers at specifically anybody, okay? Don't make private conversations public, especially if all the parties involved had expected that conversation to be a private conversation. Now, we're all gonna come into a situation where somebody has said something, where somebody has done something, something has happened on a group or a forum or wherever, and we are gonna wanna freaking show that person what is what. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna screen cap this and freaking paste it everywhere, okay? That is really uncool. Your first step, if you ever have a situation or a problem on a forum or a group, is to contact the admin. Okay, that is your first step before you engage and, oh, I'm gonna go, you know, like, I'm gonna show you what's what, this and this and this. No, take a deep breath, okay? Just, all right? Before you hit send on anything, You take that breath, you take that pause, you stand up, you go for a walk, you come back to your computer and you think with the clear head, okay? I am just as guilty of this as everybody else. This is why I'm putting this out there, okay? You need to take a minute to pause. Make sure you've got all your facts straight, and then you go to your admin, you say, hey, this just happened, this was really uncool. They're gonna be able to see it because it was on their forum, their chat, their whatever. And they're either gonna deal with it or they're not. At that point, you gotta make a decision. Is this something worth making a big stink about? Or do you wanna leave the group? Or what? But you know what? Feeding the drama, you're not helping anybody. And if anything, you're making yourself look really bad. It's this awkward thing. There's one thing between privately sharing something, you're letting people know you had to share something with the admin, like, look, this just happened, it was a private message to me, this is harassment or whatever. That's a different thing, but it's the publicly posting and trying to humiliate people for things that is a little bit dodgy and a little bit sketch for me. So I kind of feel like just be very aware and very careful, okay? So this feeds into my next point, which is number 7. Be aware that anything you post anywhere on the internet can be made public for everybody to see, okay? And I mean anything you post. So be aware of what you're posting, what you're saying about people, how you're saying it, who you're saying it to. Just be aware. This goes back to that, not everyone who smiles is a friend. Not everybody who's nice and friendly to you is necessarily your friend. I know that's a really horrible way to think about it, but you have to be aware that people do talk, and unfortunately our little industry, our little bubble is a drama magnet for whatever reason. I don't even, okay? But just remember, when you go and say something mean about somebody else to a bunch of other mermaids online, chances are you've said it to somebody who's gonna share it. So just be aware. You wanna put the good and the kindness out to the universe. You don't wanna put that negativity out to the universe. That's really important, okay? Okay, I'm sorry if the camera angle changed there. I really thought I had enough battery, but obviously I've been filming so much this morning that I was getting low. So let's try and continue this from where we were, okay? So number 8 was be respectful of public pools and other public places. Please be really aware that it just takes one mermaid to do something really stupid and it's gonna ruin it for the rest of us. Regardless of how individual that case was, it'll ruin it for the rest of us. So things that I like to do, you know, if I go do a photo shoot at the beach, I never leave a mess. If anything, I bring with some bags and I do a beach cleanup after whatever shoot or hangout or whatever, just to do a little something nice. You know, always be very respectful and very friendly towards your lifeguards. Those guys are there. They don't have to. It's up to them, right? If they're like, hey, this isn't safe, it's not safe, none of us are gonna have a place to swim. So if they tell you not to do something, or they ask you not to do something, or they ask you to do something, be respectful, be considerate, do not give them lip, do not give them attitude, and make it so that you don't ruin it for the rest of us, please. just saying. You just want to be aware of the impact that you have as a mermaid on the space that you're in. You know, we take up a lot of room. You know, be respectful of other swimmers, right? You're at the beach, don't be kicking up sand into somebody's face. Don't be leaving garbage, don't be leaving trash. You're at a lake, or you're at a river or a stream or a pond or whatever. Clean up after yourself, be very considerate of other people in the area. All right, number 9 kind of goes back to that other point, but don't be that person. Okay, you know what person I'm talking about. That person who spreads the rumors, that person that tells you that, oh, so-and-so said this about so-and-so, who said that about so-and-so, who said that about you. You know what I'm saying? If you have a problem with somebody, don't be like, I'm gonna just spread this garbage. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just not, it's not worth it, it's not necessary, it's not nice, it doesn't make you look very good, especially if you're the person spreading the rumor. It's like, sometimes it's hard, you know, if you're younger, maybe, you know, you haven't encountered it before, but once it happens to you and you find out that somebody said something horrible about you and you're like, first of all, why am I being told this through somebody else? You have a problem with me, that's fine, but please tell me. Don't go, you know, announcing it to the entire universe, whatever your issue is. It'll get back to me one way or another, you know what I'm saying? Just as a broad example, I've been fortunate and haven't had a lot of that in my life. But just to say, don't be that person who goes and spreads the hate and the rumors and the garbage. Don't be that person. Number 10, all right? What I named this, I'm not gonna say, but essentially the point is, we all have to start somewhere, okay? And we are all at where we are at in our mermaid journeys. So don't assume that you know all the things, okay? Because you frankly only know what you know. I only know what I know. I don't know what you know. I don't know what they know. You know what I'm saying? So be a sponge, be open to ideas, be open to new concepts. Don't be so high up on your seahorse that you're like, oh, I know all the things and I have all the answers and I don't have to listen to anybody. And it's like, you know what? No, okay? You're not gonna learn anything. You're not gonna grow. You're not gonna get anything more out of life if you just sit there and assume that you know everything, because you don't. I don't. I know I don't. I am learning new things all the time. It's crazy. It's amazing. But that's part of life. So really try and be open. Try and think outside the box. Try and be receptive. You don't always have to listen to what everybody, because not everybody's ideas are great. Somebody might say something to you and be like, hey, why don't you do this like this? And you're gonna be like, well, actually, there's a reason I don't do it like that. That's not the best idea. But you have to be aware that your idea might not necessarily be the best one, okay? There's more than one way to do something. So just gonna leave you guys with that. On that note, we're gonna wrap up this video. Those are my sort of 10 thoughts on mermaid etiquette and really important things to remember. I hope I didn't come across too harsh. I hope you guys know that anytime you email me or contact me, my day brightens, okay? Anytime I get a message, I'm like, yes, even if it's something I've answered before. These are just points that I wanted to make for the people out there, because I have had a couple of people who were actually quite rude to me via email and over the phone, and it's not appreciated. So just remembering these little things. I hope you guys know how much I love you. I only share this information because I want to see our community grow and not fall into a pit where rumors and anger and meanness is just a thing. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see us all grow together and just love each other and be happy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you agree that the mermaid community needs to be a little bit nicer to each other, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you guys don't miss any more of my mermaid adventures. If you are interested in joining my Patreon pod community, links and everything will be in the description box down below. I have a Discord channel where we all chat. Is that what that's called? A channel? I'm still new to it all. You should have seen me trying to set this thing up. It was ridiculous. Anyways, all kinds of behind the scenes goodness. We are a great little community. We all kind of chat and hang out and support each other, and I love my Patreon pods so much for what they do to help support me in my mermaid adventures. So on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in my next video, and happy swimming. See you later. Bye.